Mic check, it's time for in the trenches. Bucs battles, tales from the benches. No fluff, straight edge defenses. Buccaneer talk, breaking down the fences.
Hello everybody and welcome back to In the Trenches. My name is Ian Beckles and you like to be celebrating on Mondays, but unfortunately that's not what we're going to be getting done. First and foremost, let me show some love to Manny and Gordon, our title sponsor. Go to fightnegligence.com and they're the best at what they do. Now let's get to this Buccaneer game from yesterday. They lose 31-26. If you didn't watch the game, I didn't think the game was as close as the score. The Bucs had their chances to win, but you know, when I tune into the media, especially sports radio, and I was listening before the game how the Buccaneers should have won the first Falcons game. How do you say you should have won something when you gave up over 500 yards passing to an aging quarterback? I don't think I understand that. You think they should have won the first Falcons game? You think they should have won yesterday? The Bucs didn't play well enough to win yesterday. The Bucs aren't good enough defensively. Offensively, you can't turn the ball over 3 times. Never. You can never turn the ball over 3 times to win a football game against even an average football team. They turned the ball over 3 times, okay? They were -3 in turnovers. Go look in the history of the NFL how many teams win when they're -3 in turnovers. The Bucs aren't that damn talented to get that done, obviously, all right? I'm not sure the Falcons are that damn good. The Falcons, I think they're 5-3 now. The South sucks, okay? The Saints are abysmal. Carolina may not win a game. Right now, the Bucs defense is one of the worst in the NFL. Just take a look at it, all right? So the South in general is terrible. Whoever's going to come out of the South is not that good. I don't think the Falcons are that damn good. And they beat us twice. Really put it on us twice. That's not a good feel. What it does is kind of undo that Detroit win in Detroit and then undoes that Commanders win, which looks a lot better now. But the Falcons aren't good. And right now, we can't say the Bucs are good. They're 4-4. They're not good right now. If you don't win the division, you ain't going nowhere. Let's get to the positives. That orange was beautiful. That creamsicle looked good. Even though it's not the same orange as we wore, the creamsicle still looks good out there. Unfortunately, the Bucs never play well in the orange. I don't know if they've ever won any orange yet. I like to see it more, but I guess if you can't win in it, you're not going to see it too many more times. But as far as the play goes yesterday, offensively, we're playing against a Falcons defense that had 6 sacks in 7 games. I don't believe they had a sack yesterday. So that's a defense you're supposed to take advantage of. Not a defense you're supposed to, be turning the ball over 3 times against, all right? You can't fumble the football, especially at the beginning of a game when you're trying to get the flow of a football game, okay? White puts the ball on the ground, there's 1 turnover. The other 2 turnovers from Baker, I'm hearing this on sports radio this morning. Baker played well despite the 2 interceptions. Did anybody ever say that about Jameis Winston? You cannot play well throwing 2 terrible interceptions. Never. I'm sorry. Baker doesn't think he played well. He didn't play well enough because those interceptions were terrible. The game plan in general was a pretty darn good game plan considering. I mean, the Bucs still scored 26 points. You got to win those games. I saw a lot of screens. Actually, we had more screens than I've ever seen the Buccaneers run. And they did a great job doing it. But Rashid White can't fumble the ball. Clearly, I don't know who's teaching this in Atlanta, but you remember the peanut punch, Peanut Tillman? Atlanta Falcons are as good as I've seen as anybody punching the ball out. They could have had a couple more fumbles as well. So going forward, whoever watches and plays the Atlanta Falcons, they got to be better, get that ball high and tight. The play calling, from the most part, I was okay with, considering, what we had going on. A lot of screens, a lot of dinks and dunks, not a lot of reads down the field for Baker Mayfield. I was okay with that. There was one play, number 81, and what's sad with this Buccaneer team is I'm seeing key players out there, and I have to look around and ask people who they are. Number 81, Miller, never, unless it was Scotty Miller, I don't think it was. I've never seen him before. There was some defenders, And I was like, who is that guy? Number 26 was against Pitts on defense. Who is that guy? Other than somebody who can't cover Pitts. There's too many players on the Buccaneers football field that aren't great football players. I don't know what to say. Bucky Irving needs to touch the ball more. I don't know how they watch the film and don't give this kid 15 touches. I saw him make a couple Barry Sanders type moves yesterday. I'm not calling him Barry Sanders. He's not Barry Sanders. But he made a couple amazing moves. I would like to see him get the ball and get fed a little bit and see what this kid can do. I'm not one to question play calling. I'm not one to do it because every play can succeed, especially every offensive play. You have to kind of scratch your head as far as that fake punt, though. And I heard, Todd Bowles talking about, they gave us these 2 looks the time before, but they didn't give it to us on the fake punt. Then check out of it. Don't, for God's sakes, don't run a fake punt for -1 yards. What the hell is that doing? And if you don't think that changed the momentum of a football game, you're wrong. So I'm not questioning the punt call. I'm questioning the fake punt into the look that you ran it into. That wasn't a good look by any means, all right? Baker this year, when it's all said and done, he might go to the Pro Bowl. He might. He's not having a bad year. But the first 5 games, 2 picks, and the last, I think he had 7 in the last 3 games. Boy, it's hard to throw 7 picks in 3 games and tell me somebody's playing well. I'm not going for it. I'm just not going for it. It's not all Baker. I thought Baker played okay. Once again, too many turnovers. There was a play at the end of the game, number 17. Once again, I don't know who he is. I just put number 17, didn't run through his route on the last drive. I know Baker knows that Chris Godwin's going to run through his route. He knows that Mike Evans is going to run through his route. And whoever the hell number 17 is, he didn't know he was going to because he stopped his route halfway and Baker was a little bit short on his pass. Sterling Shepard is who that is. Once again, it's not Mike Evans and he's not Chris Godwin. So that's once again, Sterling Shepard's a good name if he's 3 or 4. If in key situations where you have to call Sterling Shepard's number, that ain't the way to do it. And it didn't work out yesterday. Defensively, my expert analysis on this Buccaneers defense is they ain't good. What do they do well? With the Buccaneers, they don't stop the run well anymore. They certainly don't pressure the passer on a consistent basis. I don't like the way they do it. Their DBs just aren't playing well. I don't know what other way to say it, okay? So, is this Buccaneer defense good? Nope. Once again, you have to get back to personnel. KJ Britt is rated last in Pro Football Focus in grades. Last in linebackers. Now, it's hard to make a defense for yourself when you're last in anything, okay? Last. In that first drive, when I see Pitts running down the field and I had to look to see who's covering him, there was too many broken coverages, too many missed assignments defensively, and guys were just running wide ass open. Other than a couple run plays I saw Vita Vea make, although Vita Vea is not making enough plays for me. He's not. You're a first-round draft pick. You got to make more plays. And they're running the ball on us. You're not doing your job. Sorry. Vita Vea, you're not doing your job. No way. Antoine Winfield Jr., that hustle play that probably should have saved a touchdown, but since the NFL can't figure out a way to get a camera on the goal line, I don't understand that one. There's 1,000 cameras on a field, but there's not one on the goal line. That makes a lot of sense. There's nothing consistent about this Tampa Bay defense. And I mean absolutely nothing. JTS, Joe Tryon-Trianka, and for those of you who watch this podcast on a consistent basis, you know what's coming next. Because if you're a Buccaneer fan and you watched the game yesterday, if I told you he didn't play, you wouldn't know I'm lying. What did he do? They take him out in key situations, and he is a terrible football player, and I don't know why they keep putting him on the football field. It has to be because we don't have anybody else. Because he does nothing. Put Logan Hall in there. Put anybody else in other than Joe Transchanka. He doesn't have instincts. He ain't got no mean in him. Yaya Diaby's in his second year and is 10 times meaner than Joe Transchanka. I don't know why we keep on talking about his name. I'm going to be honest with you. It's a lot. The Buccaneers are giving up 14 touchdown passes in 3 games. You can't say this is a good football team defensively. You can't say it. Offensively, this team reminds me, the Buccaneers remind me of Chamberlain football. Chamberlain football, we're pretty darn good offensively. Defensively, I wouldn't really want to put us up against too many of the juggernauts because we can't stop them. It's all the same players, but the defense ain't working. It's just not working. Now, there's always a conversation, whether it's coaching or if it's players, okay? I'm in the camp that all plays that are called can succeed. I'm not a big fan of bad play calls because, once again, there's a reason why they call these plays. But if you ask me if it's players or coaching right now, it's players. It's players. We're just not that talented. We're getting the most out of what we had offensively, what we have. Our offensive line is pretty darn good. The play calling, they like to become, well, once again, I hate to complain about the offense because we're scoring points. I think we got to become more run heavy going to the back end of this season. But then again, I've been asking for that forever. Defensively, other than Levante David making a couple 3 plays a game, Antoine Winfield Jr. making a couple 3 plays a game, Vita Vea making a couple 3 plays a game, there's nothing else. There's nothing else. I don't see a lot of hard hitting. I'm not seeing a lot of tackles for losses. I'm not seeing a lot of anything. But that's where we are. We're a football team who's 4-4. Got to play Kansas City on Monday night. You got to play Patrick Mahomes on Monday night, which is tough sledding for anybody. And here's where we are. Do we think we're a playoff team? I don't. I didn't think we were a playoff team before the Falcons game. But now we're going to have to prove to a lot of different people, including themselves in that locker room in One Buck Place, that you belong, but this ain't the way to do it. And the Bucs are 1-3 in the last 4 games, and that's not the way to make the playoffs anytime soon. So you never know. You might be here next Tuesday bragging on how the Bucs overachieved. They overachieved in Detroit, and they beat Washington, so that's kind of an overachievement. So you never know. They play up or they play down. I just wouldn't bet my house on it right now. So here's where we are. We're 4-4. You got to win the conference. You got to win the South to get in. And there ain't nobody else really is all that damn good. But then again, the Bucs are about 2.5 games behind the Falcons, and that's not a good place to be. Remember to support all your small businesses out there. Come by the Dignitary Cafe. We're getting things going on here, and we got about half of the building ready to rock, and we serve the best kratom and kava. We have coffee here too. So come hang out with us, and everybody enjoy their week despite the Buccaneers not getting things done. And thank you to Maddie and Gordon. Everybody have a wonderful week. Peace out.
You know, some law firms, they try to sell you on how big they are. But wouldn't you prefer to know how qualified and experienced and credentialed their lawyers are?
Call Manny and Gordon or visit us at fightnegligence.com.